Uh-oh, folks. Would you look what we have here? Would you look at what we have here? We got Sabrina Ionescu, far left. Look at those back muscles. All right, Sabrina, do your thing. We got Erin Kane. Oh, doing her Stephanie White pose. Oh, wow. Okay. Erin Kane doing the Stephanie White. Nice. We got Breanna Stewart. Stewie, as they call her. And we got Sandy Brondello.
Caitlin Clark just had a secret meeting with the New York Liberty that could destroy Indiana's future, while the Fever struggled without their star player running the offense. Clark was planning something that would make every Indianafan's worst nightmare come true. The meeting wasn't about endorsements or appearances. It was about 2028, when Haraki's contract expires and why Indiana's front office decisions might have just pushed away the biggest star in women's basketball. If you support Caitlin, then comment down below. Free Caitlin. Let's go. This little took place after the Fever game last night in New York between Sandy Brondello and Caitlin Clark. The New York Liberty and the agent Thegent. That is what makes this so interesting. That is the key. Alright, Ivra Boot is concentrating on. Yeah. By the way, Caitlin Clark looks unbelievably happy tacking to these folks. Picture this. Indiana takes the court at Barclays Center against New York, and within minutes you can see something is wrong. The Fever look lost. They're running plays that go nowhere. Players are standing around waiting for Simeone to create something out of nothing. Without Clark directing traffic, Indiana's offense becomes a collection of individual players trying to figure out what to do next, but could have been more consistent. And it's just disappointing. I mean, that wasn't us. That's not how we play, and that's not our identity. But just think again, it's about us and stacking days. So, I mean, we see him again after all. So, we just got to go back to the drawing boards and just make the adjustments and just be better. The Liberty didn't just beat Indiana that night, they picked apart every single weakness in ways that made wonder how this team ever won games without their superstar. New York shot 51.9% from three-point range while Indiana managed just 25%. That's not just a bad shooting night. That's what happens when you don't have anyone who can create good looks for tournaments or break down a defense. The final score read 98-77, but those numbers don't tell you about the panic in Indiana's huddles. They don't show you how quickly the Fever went from competitive to completely overwhelmed. This was their worst loss of the season, and it happened because they fell to 46 in games without Clark running the show. Mitch Loshi pull up. Here's she's got it, and that's Eric Cord Kelsey Mitchell with 9 threes in a game. It's never been done before. Mitchell is so cracksy. Don't dare, Kelsey Mitchell. Smooth as butter, silky. Here's Mitchell. Mitchell collects. Bet Mitchell, you bet. And the foul, Mitchell slashes home a 3. Sock step back, launches a 3. It's good. Kelsey Mitchell has now hit 607 threes and counting, the most ever for an Indiana Fever player. Kelsey Mitchell did everything she could to keep Indiana alive. She broke the franchise record for career three-pointers with her 607th, hitting shots and creating plays that reminded everyone why she deserves all-recognition. Mitchell finished with 16 points, but you could see the frustration building as she tried to carry an offensive load that was never meant for one person. Hey Kel, just wanted to say, congratulations all us ways. I'm super proud of you and yet another record broken. Of course, this is just the beginning. Keep it going. Records are meant to be broken, but if there anybody that would break it, I'm glad that it's you. So, congratulations. I love you. I'm super proud of you. And let's go, Fever. Get that dub. Sophie Cunningham started in place of Lexi Hull and brought that same energy we love watching. She scored 12 points and fought through every possession like her career depended on it. Cunningham never backed down from contact, never stopped moving, never gave up on plays that other players would have quit on. So talented. Had that Mamba mentality at Oregon and brought it here to the WNBA. Sophie Cunningham gets the birdie on a top cloud and hits the 3. But here's the problem, that even their heroic efforts couldn't hide. Ale Iabaston, who usually dominates inside, managed just 7 points on 1-4 right shooting. The Liberty collapsed on hard drives and dared her to pass out. Knowing there wasn't anyone like Clark to punish them for that strategy. Boston's struggles showed how much this team depends on Clark's ability to make everyone around her better. Ari filled in at point guard, but a lineup change couldn't provide the spark Indiana needed. The Liberty understood exactly what they were. They knew Indiana had no real identity without Clark orchestrating Jevenith from the backcourt. This wasn't just a loss. This was a complete breakdown that exposed why Clark might be questioning whether Indiana can actually build a championship team around her. The Fever looked like a completely different franchise without their superstar, and not in any way that gives you confidence about their future. Yeah, I thought it started with US just being really soft. You know they didn't feel us. They're an outstanding offensive team. They're obviously an outstanding defensive team, too. And we didn't disrupt at all. They didn't feel us. There was no resistance. We weren't in passing lanes. We let them pass the ball and move wherever they wanted to. So it's outside of just execution off schemes. It's having a little bit more fight and resistance on the defensive end. Here's where Indiana's problems go from bad to absolutely catastrophic. And ITAL centers on how they handled Clark's injury. When your franchise player gets hurt, the front office response tells you everything about an organization preparation and competence. The Fever's approach to Clark's injury wasn't just poor. It was so misguided that it raised serious questions about their ability to protect their biggest asset. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. And I hope Indiana Fever fans are taking note, writing things down, following a certain pattern, and this time aren't getting fooled. The Indiana Fever ruled Kane Clark out for tonight's game. No surprise to anybody, I saw it, you saw it, your neighbor saw it, Stevie Wonder saw that. The medical staff decisions, the communication breakdowns, the timeline confusion, every aspect of injury management looked amateur. You had fans, analysts, and even other teams watching Indiana fumble the most basic aspects of injury management for the most important player in women's. Another groin, another leg injury. She has a quad. We rush her back, Shinjers her quad. We rush her back. Shinjers her groin. We rush her back. Wonjur her quad. Nice. Good job. No way Caitlin Clark was going to play tonight. But the Indiana Fever, they decided to lie again about Kane Clark's status again to milk the fans' tree for as much as they possibly can. Again. Stephanie White's public statements about Clark's condition made things worse instead of better. White said, the team was taking Clark's injury one day at a time. That's the same phrase she used when Clark was out for 2.5 weeks earlier in the season. This lack of clarity fueled speculation about the team's handling of the situation and created doubt about White's transparency directing the severity of Clark's condition. The timing couldn't have been worse either. Clark's injury status became a major talking point right before the All-Star game when the league needed maximum visibility from its biggest star. Instead of clear communication about recovery timelines, Indiana provided vague updates that left everyone guessing. This isn't how you handle a generational talent who brings millions of viewers to your games. The Indiana Fever, you're on notice, you're on notice. You better recognize what you've got going on, the asset in front of you, and you have to do to correct what is happening. But the injury mismanagement was just the tip of the iceberg when it came to a much deeper philosophical problem. Clark thrives in a fast-paced, high-tempo system where Ash can push the ball and create chaos for opposing defenses. Her greatest strength is her ability to get out in transition, create opportunities before defenses can set up, and use her basketball IQ to find teammates in perfect positions. If Stephanie White believes that this team is better with Ari McDonald and blah blah blah, if shares the same views as Carolyn Peck, you fire her on the spot. I don't care if she is an Indiana Fever alum, you fire her on the spot. And anybody in the organization that shares that same belief set, I mean these Stephanie White truthers, no surprise. She checks boxes, and they're the old WNBA fandom that thinks Stephanie White's getting a raw deal. Right now, it's so obvious she don't know she don't know what she's doing with this kind of talent. The coaching staff keeps trying to force her into a slow, methodical system. That kills everything that makes her special. They want her to walk the ball up the court, run through half court, sets and play at a pace that neutralizes her biggest advantages. You're taking a player who can create offense out of nothing and asking her to wait for plays to develop slowly. It's like buying a Ferrari and then driving it exclusively in school zones. You're wasting the entire point of what makes it valuable. Clark's vision, her passing ability, her basketball IQ, all of these skills get maximized when she can play fast and create opportunities in transition. When you slow her down, you're not just limiting her scoring, you're limiting her impact on every single possession. This clash in styles has created a sense of frustration that goes beyond just basketball strategy. Clark can see what is capable of when she's allowed to play her natural game. She can also see how much the team struggles when they force her into a system that doesn't fit her strengths. These decisions created a perfect storm of frustration that made Clark start looking at other options for her future.